October 5th, 2013. Shortly after moving up to Minnesota in 1982, I left a lot of my history behind me and started anew. I mentioned yesterday about having to ditch my rock and roll albums and start a clean slate. One of the first concerts I went to was right there in Wilmer. It was a band called Cameleon, and it was a local band. If you lived anywhere within the state, you would have probably seen them. They toured a lot, kind of college kids at the time, and toured and went to school and toured in summer. But they played like the little Wilmer sports arena, and got to go to that. What was interesting about that band is that the synthesizer keyboard player was Yanni. I don't know if you remember, but Yanni was looked like that and made it very popular. He went on to have much success after the band. I think he recorded, that was like 82, 83. In 84, he went solo and recorded an album, and then I think in 88. But in 93, he did put a lot of his own money into a live performance, live at the Acropolis, and it aired on public television and seen in like 25 countries, and went on to be the second most popular live concert video performance come second after Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Numerous awards, Grammys, millions and millions of albums or so. And then he went on around the world and recorded like the Taj Mahal and the Kremlin. He was very well known as doing live concerts. He was kind of, I'm going to say, post new age, modern type music. Not really a singer, somebody singing as much as just the instrumental new wave music. So he went on to be very successful. I didn't see him after that, but I was able to see I remember distinctly, and these are some of the memories that are kind of imprinted in my mind in those early days, finding my footsteps. And I knew that if I could successfully go to like a local concert like that and behave myself, and that he would let me, Gordon would let me venture off into the big city and see a concert, which he did, and I'll talk about that tomorrow night. But it was interesting that because he had the optical and hearing, and actually didn't have the hearing yet, but he had the optical at the hearing shop there on Main Street, the professional building. And the guy who ran the optical, his son was about my age, and he was supposed to come by, and we were supposed to go. I think he was a little bit younger, because I was old enough to buy beer. I remember buying like a 6-pack, and I was waiting for him to come by, and I remember sitting on the front steps and downed a couple of the beers, and he never showed up. So I just went ahead and took off and went on to the concert. Like I said, it was really good. They put on a really good show. I remember being on the floor and getting pretty close. And what was interesting is what they had, and you could see it later on in other professional bands, but the drummer had a floating drum set that would rotate completely 360 degrees. So they'd strap him in, and then he'd play the drums as it rotated, like a skewer, completely 160 degrees. So that was really a feat, and something that I've seen in other concerts throughout the years. So it was interesting that they had put together a pretty good show. But it was mostly produced. I think I was just watching and played a little clip of a song from Cameleon, and I think their first album that Yanni was in, that he produced, and then he later joined the band, something like that as the story goes. But Yanni, very attractive Greek, long black hair. I showed you a picture. Long, very distinctive, but interesting how some things you never forget. But 83, Cameleon, the wild years, or the early years. But Yanni, went on to be very successful in his doings. But the Cameleon years, this is when they were, you say the early 80s, hair was it. But that's kind of their music, Cameleon years, Yanni. I think that showed him playing.
We did a big pre-order.
October 5th, 2013. Back in the Roma days.
We were playing the bars, we were playing college arenas, we were playing Celebrity, we were playing the Guthrie Theater, we were a live concert act. And we actually joined up with the Miller Rock Network, where they were sponsoring bands that were all original, but they hadn't been signed yet to a major record label. So we had decided we started our own label.
Cameleon.
In the meantime, we're going to put out our own product. And we were doing 15 different states, and we were getting recorded on some of the major radio stations and stuff. So that's what actually got all the label interested.